Today I want to talk about a few things: profit taking, patience, and conviction, and basically 7 years of learnings, currently what my viewpoints are. So let's just go through this fairly quickly, and if you find any value, add it to your thesis. So this is from Bankless, and quite often people send me stuff from Bankless and say, what do you think of this? Or what do you think of this? These guys from Bankless, they're very, very smart, and to be perfectly honest, they've got really cool kind of podcast setups. I would certainly love to have something like that right here. They are what we call Ethereum maxis. So that's completely fine. I hold some Ethereum. I think Ethereum's cool. It's very cool. I think Solana is cooler, but that's fine. That's not really the point there. The point there is they have got this guy chatting away. Here's Anatoly from Solana, and he's talking about how SHIB is just so amazing. And so what he has is conviction. He has conviction that SHIB is basically more amazing than everything else. And if we have a look at cryptocurrencies here, and then click on categories, and then memes, essentially his viewpoint is that SHIB is all about quality versus quantity, because we've got dog with hat and bonk, and basically we could take the market caps, all of the meme coins on Solana, and they still wouldn't be as big as SHIB. And therefore Ethereum is about quality versus quantity, and Solana is all about quantity. Now that's his thesis. I think it's completely flawed in so many different ways, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. So what is my thesis? Because your thesis is what aids you in conviction. Firstly, there's not going to just be one winner of the entire crypto cycle. I think Solana will do extraordinarily well, but there'll be other ecosystems that do well as well. Essentially, I view that crypto should be something which is easy to use. So as things get easier and easier, whatever ecosystem caters for that, that will be the ecosystem that will do the best. So that's essentially my conviction. The easiest blockchain to play on with affordable fees, easy on-ramping, off-ramping, and fun things. And of course, you want to make some profit. There has to be profitability. So now I'm going to mention a couple of recent launches that happened on the Solana blockchain. Nothing's financial advice, it's just a thesis. The first one is Uprock. So Uprock is in DePIN, decentralized physical infrastructure. What it basically allows you to do is use the bandwidth from your mobile phone to be able to generate returns. By taking the data, it gets fed to artificial intelligence models. They sell that information, they make a profit. Now this is where patience comes into mind. Basically, currently the fully diluted market cap of this entire project is $30 million. I'm not saying to buy it, you can do whatever you like, but that is the fully diluted market cap. The token went to 9 cents and then down it came. They have almost 100,000 holders, and in my view, they've got good tokenomics. Now as a project, they still need to prove themselves. Of course they do. But they already have 1 million users using their app. Now they just have to sell the data and make returns. So if you look at this, and if you don't have any conviction and you don't have any patience, you would sell and take your losses, or you'd stay away completely. And maybe you go and play in meme coins. After all, if we have a look at something like Mother, you can see that this token has done extraordinarily well in such a short space of time. And this is what people expect. Now let's talk about Sanctum. Sanctum has their upcoming token. Going to be called Cloud, and this is the allocation. I think the tokenomics are good. People will FUD them, and that's fine. That's their view. I did not have conviction that this was needed. I then saw growth. I saw a really cool user interface. I saw people learning about staking, and I understood. This is a cool thesis. Now, James Hanley does some really cool whiteboard stuff. You can see like this. However, he didn't have time, but he gave me a little blurb. He went through the entire AMA, and these are the key points. It's going to have a crazy launch. An LFG price will be insanely cheap at 50 million fully diluted valuation. That's the starting price and then ramping up. So this is the same valuation VCs got in without the execution risk. This is similar to how Uprock did it, by the way. No SEX token launch, 18% initial token generation event, 30% remaining community supply, completely community governed. The cloud token equals governance, voting on what LSTs get into future Wonderland seasons. And Wonderland Season 2 is intended even more ambitious and cool than Season 1. In the AMA, he didn't want to talk about revenue sharing in the future or anything like that. So now I'm going to show you some tokens from a previous cycle. So this is RFox. This is something I had conviction in a previous cycle. I don't think the conviction was correct to have, but nevertheless, I did have conviction. So this launched in 2020, and this token price was actually a lot lower than this. If we scroll on down, we can see it's down 98%. And basically from here to here, it was 1,000x, meaning $1,000 turned into $1 million. It then collapsed and then somehow it shot up briefly again later in 2021 before collapsing. Now its market cap is $10 million. Let's have a look at this website and we'll have a quick look at the Twitter. I haven't followed this in quite some time. And by the way, I'll cover profit taking as a strategy at the end. So they're building a metaverse. They were overvalued and they weren't shipping. They said they'll ship things and it just took too long. And now maybe there's something shipped. I just literally have no idea. They dispersed into different things with COGS. COGS were on the Wax blockchain. They're like NFT kind of things. They had metaverse NFTs, DeFi aspect, a whole lot of things. Now this project went to over $1 billion as a market cap and they've got 38,000 followers. Their posts are getting low engagement, but just keep in mind the market cap went to over $1 billion in the previous cycle. Now this was built on speculation. It was built on the fact that they'd be able to ship all these things that were difficult to ship. They didn't ship them, or maybe they're still shipping them. It's not a criticism on the team. They can't really control the valuations that people are going to pay. But if I look at something like Sanctum and Uprock, I have so much more conviction with those because although we don't necessarily have a clear narrative at present other than good meme coins, they have such a low valuation and so much room to grow that I think like a 10x or 15x would be very possible. Let's have a look at another project, Celsius. We'll zoom out here again. Now they actually launched as an ICO, so an initial coin offering, way back in 2018. So the all-time low, it says it was this price, but probably for the ICO price, it was probably potentially even less. Now in the last cycle, DeFi was certainly the narrative. This token spiked up to $8. And then from that point, it came crashing down. And then 13th of June, 2022, Celsius stopped allowing withdrawals. Basically, they were fraudulent. The mission of Celsius was great, had good marketing. This was DeFi rebranded to CeFi, centralized finance. So you open this app, email login, all that sort of stuff. You deposited your crypto, they lent it out to trusted institutional partners, got a return, took a cut of the return, used some of that return to go and pay for bills, and then used some of the income to basically buy up and buy back their token. And if you wanted to earn more yield, instead of getting yield in say Bitcoin or Ethereum, you could instead get yield in the Celsius token at a higher rate. In the end, they stole and misused billions of dollars, if not billions, maybe it was like hundreds of millions. The next token we have is AXS. So this is Axie Infinity's governance token. If we zoom out max, we can see the lowest price was like 14 cents or something crazy, 12 cents. This then rocketed up to $164, almost $165. And then of course it came crashing down. At no stage was it actually worth this. It's just speculation and hype. Yet the people that were buying it back here when it was a low valuation, knowing that it did have some product market fit, that it potentially had upside, they could have been taking profits all the way up here. Next token we also have is Gala. So this also relates in gaming. Gaming was also a large part of the previous cycle. Really not certain what the narrative is this cycle because it's still a little bit too early. I think we'll probably start to know maybe around November or December. I do feel that DePIN and real world assets will do well. So once again, even from its lowest price to the current price, it's up an insane multiple. And its all-time high, it's still down 95%. I can't remember what the market cap was, but it was billions. And if we have a look at their Twitter, they've got a decent number of followers and they're basically building games. I have no idea what games they're doing these days because a few years ago I did a pre-sale in a game and I don't think it ever actually launched. So they have all these games here and Mirandus was supposed to be the game and it's still coming soon. So I think I bought some NFTs in this game in 2020. Now let's talk about patience. I think the Bonk guy gets this so well. Definitely someone to actually learn from. This hits deep. And I'm saying this as someone who turned 16K into 10 million plus on a single Bonk trade. If I had closed my position just a week after longing, I'd barely have made 50K. There is one thing between you and a $10 million portfolio. If we go back to meme coins, and certainly a meme coin cycle, we can have a look at Shiba Inu. It is still down 70%, but this was probably one of the greatest trades ever. The reality is, back here, no one would have actually done very well because you had to buy it on Ethereum mainnet. The gas fees would have probably been more expensive than anything, and then it just rocketed. At this point, it started to rocket, and then it came down, and then it rocketed again. And then recently, it also rocketed exceptionally. And now it's coming down, and it'll probably rocket and continue to rocket. Some people think that this could 10x from here. So you put in $100 and you walk away with $1,000. Personally, I'm just not interested. Let's have a look at Bonk now. Let's go and have a look at 1 year. So it was around about this time that the Bonk guy put on this 16K long at 6x leverage. And then it rocketed, and then rocketed, and then rocketed. The fully diluted valuation is $3 billion. Whereas with Bonk, you could pay less than a cent to actually go and grab some Bonk. So now most of my patience just comes in with Solana. Holding Solana, staking it with Validator.com. And if I make profits in other areas, I will rotate some back into Solana because I think the Solana ecosystem will continue to grow exponentially and money will flow back to Solana. Then I have patience. This is the start of the bull cycle. In my opinion, not financial advice, it will go for 18 months longer. There'll be things that drop off, things that improve, and as we head into the cycle, that's when we're going to see things popping in different directions. Another thing that's very important is narrative. This at no stage should have been worth as much as it should have been worth. This all relates to circulating market cap, the number of coins that can actually be sold, and of course just good marketing and hype. Same thing with Celsius, Axie, Gala, basically everything. My point is, right now there are some tokens that are basically at this stage. If you do some research, if you work out, does it have product market fit? Will people want it? Will it be marketed? Does the team want to succeed? Then although I don't expect to see this kind of multiple, I think it's quite easy to see a 10 or 20x. You just have to have patience, because if you zoom out and click on max, I'll be honest, right here, people were super bullish and then they're exceptionally bearish. And a smart person that was just buying $10 a day, every day, through this entire period would now be worth an insane amount. Okay, so you've stuck with me thus far. Let's talk about profit taking. Of course, this is not financial advice, but let's go through a bit of a strategy. When it comes to a meme coin, if you have strong conviction, you can hold it, but generally most of these will fail. So let's say, as an example, you bought some here. Maybe you bought $100. Let's say when it doubles, you may want to sell half. So you bought $100, you're now going to sell $50. Because these things can quite often just go to zero very quickly. So you now have your $100 back in USDC. Then you've got $100 worth of mother. At this point, you're basically riding the bank. So maybe you sell 20% of what's remaining when it goes up 200%. And then at this point, you're just completely in profit. You could sell another 10% if it doubled. And you can even go to dupe.ag and you can literally set actual orders, limit orders for mother specifically at 40 cents, 50 cents, 80 cents, $1, $2, and each one could be a small percentage. And if the token still keeps on going up, you have what's called a moon bag. And you have to decide if you want to sell that moon bag at a 50x, 100x, or higher. Now that's one strategy. Of course, you've got an alternative. You could go with whiff. You've got all these people buying back in November, and then let's say they did that strategy. If they just had held, that would be millionaires. But how do you know that this would actually take off? It would probably be too early to call at this point that it would actually take off. Unless, of course, you've done your research, in which case, if you've got patience and conviction, you can let it ride. But quite often, and it's not financial advice, taking back what you put in can be deemed a good move. Of course, from here to here, maybe you make 5 million. And then from here to here, if you've already sold half of it, maybe you make 2.5 million. But the key point is you just need a strategy. Same thing would apply with tokens like this. Take some profits. You can always use those profits to go into another project. If you start to get around 50x or 100x, that's probably a good idea to take more aggressive profits. If the fully diluted valuation looks a little bit crazy, maybe your moon bag starts to go down, but you still have a bit of a crazy moon bag. If you bought it at this point and you're able to sell it for $100 and $120, that's a pretty decent move. So in general, there are some of my thoughts. I still think we're too early in the narrative to actually work out what's going to really pop, but when a token doesn't go up immediately, straight away, that's fine. If they have a strong team, if they've got product market fit, I still think it's worth a bet. If it doesn't play out, that's fine, because once again, we're not putting all of our eggs in one basket. Let me know your thoughts. If you agree or disagree, or if you've got any decent tips that can help out someone, let us know below. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.